Marvel's power classifications aren't set in stone. They evolve as the universe expands and new stories unfold. Sometimes a character's journey challenges the very categories we fit them into. Take Scarlet Witch for instance. She's often called mutant, but due to the ultimate enemy of continuity, Marvel's retconning, technically she's a mutate with magical lineage. This is the fully explained version of Marvel power classes. My name's Kai the Comic Guy, and it's time for a deep dive. Class 1. Peak and skilled humans. No powers, no magic, no problem. Just terrifying skill and pure physical mastery. Take Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, a man who can break concrete walls, bend steel chairs, all of this without a single superhuman gift. Standing 6'7", weighing 450 pounds. Only 2% of his mass is fat, the rest, solid muscle. For a few decades of relentless training, he's a master of judo, sumo wrestling, and also, he's a street baller. He turns his massive frame into a weapon. Every move is calculated, every strike is devastating, making him a nightmare for anyone foolish enough to face him in close quarters combat. As much as I'd like to throw Captain America into this category, we're going to have to save him for later, reasons I can't explain now. Instead, let's talk about one of Marvel's most overlooked peak humans, Conan the Barbarian. Strong enough to hurl a man with one hand, fast enough to outrun wild dogs. Which, for anyone that doesn't know, wild dogs can clock in anywhere from 30 miles per hour plus, faster than the Olympic legend Usain Bolt, whose record is 27.33 miles per hour. Whether it's tackling a dinosaur, killing a wolf with spare teeth, or as a teenager single-handedly defeating militias, Conan makes the impossible look easy through sheer will and skill, though it certainly helps being an abnormally strong Chimerian. Even heroes like Hawkeye belong in the peak human conversation for their skill alone, despite lacking overwhelming strength. So why does this power class matter? Well, because it grounds the universe. It proves that even without superpowers, these characters can give anyone a business. Kingpin himself has beaten Daredevil multiple times, taken down Red Skull, and nearly defeated Captain America. So if peak humans can go toe-to-toe with a superpowered opponent, what happens when someone who wasn't born with powers but acquired them later? That's where the Mutate classification comes in. The humans in the Marvel Universe might be different from a DNA standpoint than the humans in the real world. That's likely due to a celestial named the Progenitor. The Progenitor is an Alpha-class celestial, came to Earth billions of years ago. Unfortunately, the celestial was infected by a species called the Horde and wound up dying. Well, the celestial's body, along with fluids seeping from the corpse, fused with the newly formed Earth and affected its surface, and possibly altered the evolutionary trajectory of the Earth itself, along with the human species. Which explains how 4 humans can go into space, be exposed to cosmic rays, and come back with powers. Or how a spider can bite a teenager and reconfigure his DNA, and he would later become the heart of the Marvel Universe, Spider-Man. This tale is told from Loki, so we have to take it with a grain of salt. But I wanted to discuss this before we moved on to Mutates. Class 2, Mutates. Peter Parker is a classic example. On what should have been an ordinary trip to school, the spider's bite reconfigures his DNA, which in turn winds up granting him superhuman agility and strength. Also, he can cling on walls. Peter never expected or wanted these powers. They were forced upon him by an event completely outside of his control. This theme of external transformation defines Mutates across the Marvel Universe. Bruce Banner's story is marked by catastrophe. Exposure to gamma radiation during a failed experiment. The result is not just a new set of abilities, but a total upheaval of his life. Banner's transformation to the Hulk is violent, unpredictable, and kind of traumatic. He didn't seek out this power, he certainly didn't want it at the cost it came with. The event made him a mutate, and also left him with a burden he could never fully escape, the Hulk. Matt Murdock's radioactive accident didn't make him stronger, but it did make him sharper, blinded, yet gifted with heightened senses beyond human limits. Daredevil can hear a heartbeat through the walls. He can smell and identify individuals, and see his surroundings through a radar-like perception. Combined with years of martial arts, along with some mastery of other combats, these abilities make him a nightmare for criminals, even without super strength. Not all mutates are a result of accidents. Steve Rogers, also known as Captain America, willingly underwent transformations through the Super Soldier Serum program. His story is different in that he chooses to embrace the unknown, stepping into an experiment that elevates him from a frail recruit to the pinnacle of human conditioning and ability. But even for Rogers, that process is irreversible. The serum permanently alters his body, and expectations come with his new role. He's a symbol of hope, leadership, and sacrifice, and those weigh as much as those physical changes. The outcome is the same, a new identity shaped by forces beyond what anyone could predict. Mutates must suddenly adjust to the powers they never anticipated. Their narratives are about coping with shock of the transformation and learning to live with the unintended consequences and finding purposes in a reality that they never chose. In Marvel, technology isn't just a tool, it could be the ultimate equalizer. Where mutants are born with gifts and mystics barter for power, technologists build their might from scratch. Armor, cybernetics, AI, and future scientists turn mortal ingenuity into something that can stand against gods, aliens, and empires, even reality warping threats. The most dangerous part? Technically upgraded infinitely. Every battle lost comes data for the next unbeatable design. Kang the Conqueror, the temporal warlord. Armed with the 31st century war armor, Kang is a master of rewriting both battles and history. His suit's force fields can withstand hammer strikes from Thor. His strength is boosted to multi-ton levels, and his life support systems keep him alive in deep space. Weapons range from plasma projectors and antimatter disruptors to time displacement tech that can freeze enemies or erase them from existence. Kang's true weapon is preparation. He enters every confrontation with counters for magic, mutations, machines, and more. When the fight escalates, he can summon armies of future tech soldiers or unleash bioengineered warpies. Kang doesn't just win fights, he engineers time where he's already won. Doc Ock, the mechanical predator. Doc Ock's titanium steel tentacles aren't just tools, they are fused to his nervous system, making them as much a part of himself as his own limbs. Each can lift over 8 tons, move faster than Spider-Man can react, and extend 24 feet for sudden and precise strikes. The AI in each limb lets him operate independently, allowing Octavius to fight multiple opponents, hack systems, and manipulate delicate machinery all at once, turning himself into a 4-limbed tactician who could dominate in any environment. Who could forget Iron Man, the armored Avenger? Tony Stark's power is his genius. The armor is simply weaponized form. From the crude Mark I to bleeding-edge technology, every suit is a leap forward. His arsenal includes repulsor beams, unibeams, chest cannons, and missiles and sonic disruptors. What makes Stark truly dangerous isn't his raw firepower, it's his foresight. He invents the counter before the threat arrives. In the right armor, Tony has stood against gods, alien armadas, and cosmic forces without flinching. Technology-based powers remove the limits of biology and magic, and the danger isn't with the systems and what they can do, it's how quickly they can evolve. Class 4. Hybrids. Some characters defy a single label. Their power and identity straddle multiple categories, creating unique strengths and inner conflicts. Dr. Doom is both a technological genius and a master sorcerer. His armor can withstand blows from gods, while his mystic arts allow him to banish demons, summon entities, and rewrite reality itself. Yet in Fantastic Four Unthinkable, Dr. Doom admits he's neglected his mythical side, showing that even the most dangerous mind can wrestle with imbalance. Immortal Submariner, one of Marvel's oldest characters, is an Atlantean mutant hybrid. He can survive crushing depths of the ocean, fly with ankle wings, and go toe-to-toe with some of Marvel's heaviest hitters. But Namor's greatest struggle is personally being torn between the loyalty he has to his undersea kingdom and his complicated relationship with the surface world. Sometimes hero, sometimes villain, but always king of Atlantis. Hybrids can be some of Marvel's most layered characters. Their dual nature gives them flexibility, but also forces them to choose which side of themselves to embrace in critical moments. I've given a few examples, but now it's your turn. Who are your favorite Marvel hybrids? Drop them in the comments below. Class 5. Mutants and the X-Gene. In the Marvel Universe, the X-Gene is the foundation of what makes mutants unique. Unlike heroes who gain their abilities through a chance or choice, mutants are born with a genetic marker on a 23rd chromosome, a biological switch that unlocks latent powers. Its activation is unpredictable, often triggered during adolescence or intense stress, and the results range from subtle changes to universe-shaking abilities. Some gain cosmic mutations, blue skin, gills, while others command forces that can shift the balance of reality itself. Over the years, writers like Chris Claremont, Grant Morrison, and Jonathan Hickman have expanded on how mutants are classified. This isn't just a ranking strength system, it's a classification of how the characters can grow, how they fight, and how their stories unfold. Bear in mind, a lot of these mutant classifications are both official and fan-based. I'll briefly go through a few. Epsilon. Minor or mostly cosmetic mutations often make daily life harder than easier. Mutates is a good example. When his power manifested, his skin turned pink, he lost hair, and he became a mute. His ability of projecting simple holograms via visual telepathy to show what he's thinking is great for communication, but isn't combat effective, especially against heavy hitters like Apocalypse or Sinister. Delta level. Delta level mutants often blend in with humans, much like alpha and beta level mutants, but their powers are either not fully under control or visibly expressed. In many cases, they may go years without even realizing they have abilities. Take Domino, for example, whose probability and manipulation works subconsciously. While it often benefits her in moments, it isn't something she can actively control. With focused training, cognitive development, she could possibly elevate herself to a level far beyond Delta. Gamma level mutants. Gamma level mutants are powerful, but their abilities are normally paired with some type of physical change, and this change sets them apart from other humans. These powers can be impressive, but they usually have more limitations than those of alpha level mutants. Let's take Nightcrawler for instance. His teleportation ability is incredible, allowing him to cross great distances in a blink of an eye, but it comes with physical traits that mark him instantly. Blue skin, a tail, and glowing yellow eyes, and a demon-like appearance. Can't exactly show up the Denny's in order, can he? While these features don't diminish his scale, they affect how the world perceives him. If Nightcrawler's powers evolve, let's say he can teleport entire cities, then his classification would change. Beta level. Beta level mutants appear largely human at first glance. There's always a telltale trait that sets them apart from other humans. Their powers are always live, meaning that they can't fully hide or switch them off, even if they have partial control. Wolverine is a classic beta level example. His healing factor works consistently, repairing damage before it can kill him. It's an incredible gift, but it also means his body is always in an active state of regeneration, something that he can't pause or disable. His bone claws are small, but a visible mutation, a permanent physical reminder that he's not like everyone else. Alpha level. Alpha level mutants have high level abilities, and they mostly have under full control. Some examples would be Cyclops post-training and Professor X's telepathy. Usually achieved through mastery and training, they are able to affect their areas around them on a large scale. Professor X, as an alpha class mutant, might have limited telekinesis, but has vast telepathic abilities, allowing him to read minds, project thoughts, and release astral form, and manipulate those thoughts, control minds, and alter memories. He's an all-around dangerous mutant, but what separates him from Omega class is the fact that he has an upper limit, hence Cerebro. Jonathan Hickman redefined Omega class mutants as those whose dominant power has no defined upper limit, Omega class. Some examples would be Storm, Magneto, Iceman, and Legion. What makes mutants compelling isn't their ranking, it's the narrative. Mutants wrestle with identity from the moment their powers manifest, and they don't necessarily choose the X gene. They're forced to navigate fear, prejudice, and a weight of expectation before they even know who they are or what they want to be. That's why mutant stories resonate. They're about finding acceptance and purpose in a world that may never fully accept you. That sound familiar to anyone? Question: does the X gene also appear in extraterrestrial races in the Marvel Universe? Let me know in the comment. Class 6, engineered beings, the Inhumans. The Inhumans stand apart as one of Marvel's most unique power classes. Unlike mutants, Inhumans are a result of deliberate genetic engineering. Long ago, the Kree experimented on early humans, seeding their bloodline with potential that would only awaken through Terrigenesis. Terrigen Mist is both a gift and a curse. Exposure to it transforms an Inhuman into their true form, unlocking powers that can rival gods or leave them warped beyond recognition. What makes Inhumans dangerous isn't just their powers, it's their unity and their purpose. Every human carries the weight of destiny, shaped not by chance but by design. Their existence raises questions that haunt the Marvel Universe. What does it mean to be human if your future has been engineered? And what happens when those designs clash with the freedom and the choice? To have some fun and to test everyone's knowledge so far, how would you classify Miss Marvel? Let me know in the comments. Class 7, Magic Users. In the Marvel Universe, magic has its own rules, traditions, and costs. Mutants are born with abilities, mutates gain them through outside forces, but sorcerers and mystics must earn every ounce of their power through years of study, discipline, and sometimes sacrifice. Every spell comes with risk, and the cost can reach far beyond the physical. Magic in the Marvel Universe is never free. The price can be physical exhaustion, mental strain, a piece of a caster's soul, or an obligation to the forces far older than humanity. Scarlet Witch shows the dangerous unpredictability of magic at its most volatile state. Rooted in chaos magic, a force older and more unstable than most sorcery, Wanda Maximoff's power can bend, twist, and rewrite reality itself. In the House of M's storyline, 3 words, no more mutants, reshape the fate of the entire species. Her origins blurs classifications. She's not strictly a mutant anymore, but a mutate whose latent potential was awakened through experimentation. Magic users range in scope and scale. Brother Voodoo wields spiritual and voodoo magic to protect and heal, along with reaching out to elemental spirits, while street-level mystics like Dr. Druid risk disaster when they meddle with forces they can barely understand. Necromancy offers quick power, but a steep moral and spiritual cost. At the very top sits Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange embodies this path, tasked with maintaining balance with the world's mythical defenses, and whose decisions can shape the fate of entire dimensions. The truth about magic in the Marvel Universe, it demands constant balance between power and restraint, ambition and responsibility. It may seem limitless, but there are forces in the cosmos that don't bend reality. They define it. Class 8, the Divine. Not every hero gains power from science, mutation, or magic. Some are choosing vessels of gods or higher beings. Their abilities come from not their own ambition, but from divine covenant, worship, or spiritual bargains. To wield divine power is to carry both blessings and a burden. Bast, the Panther God, one of the eldest daughters of Ra, is central to Wakanda's legacy. She began as a mortal who rose from godhood through worship, becoming the Panther God. Every Black Panther is bound to her through heart-shaped herbs, a sacred plant that forges a spiritual link, all enhancing the body to near superhuman levels. When T'Challa defeated his uncle and consumed the herb, Bast herself empowered him, not just as king but as Wakanda's divine protector. Yet Bast is not a passive patron. When T'Challa failed to aid the people of Xenia, she stripped him of his gifts and chose another, Sekium Neville, as her champion. That reminds us that the divine power is conditional. A god grants it, but a god can also take it away. Another example would be Khonshu, Moon Knight's patron. Mark Spector was a missionary left for dead. Bleeding beneath the statue of Khonshu, the Egyptian moon god, on the edge of death, his spirit was drawn into the spiritual realm where Khonshu offered him a bargain. Life restored in exchange for service, acting as his earthly avatar. Mark accepted and thus became Moon Knight. His strength and ability and resilience were enhanced, fluctuating with the phase of the moon. Sometimes his divine empowerment made him nearly superhuman, but the deal came at a cost. Mark's mind was fractured under Khonshu's influence, his life forever caught between divine servitude and mortal struggle. Unlike mutants who are born with their powers and tech users who build it, divine class relies on forces beyond mortal control. Their strength is vast, but it's borrowed. Gods like Bast or Khonshu grant their champions incredible abilities, but they demand loyalty, faith, and sacrifice in return. When their faith wavers, so too does the might of their power. Divine heroes embody the oldest themes in storytelling, the bond between mortals and gods, and their battles aren't just physical but spiritual. Class 9, aliens and extra-dimensional beings. Not all powers in Marvel are born from Earth. Beyond our skies and across dimensions exist empires. The Kree are stronger, faster, and more resilient than humans. Their physiology shaped by crushing gravity of their homeworld Hala on the Earth translates into natural physical strength and superiority, though they require special breathing apparatuses to survive long-term on our atmosphere. Guiding it all is supreme intelligence, a supercomputer made of the greatest Kree minds in history, ensuring that every campaign is calculated and inevitable. From Ronan the Accuser in the Guardians of the Galaxy to the secret mind manipulations in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Skrulls. The Skrulls are a species defined by survival and transformation. Forged by celestial experimentation, they splintered into 3 branches: the Eternals, the Primes, and the Deviants. It was the Deviants, with their uncanny shapeshifting, who endured, dominating their race and shaped its destiny. Once peaceful, they became warriors through endless conflict with the Kree, spreading their empire across 50 worlds. Tragedy struck when Galactus destroyed their throne world, Tarnax, leaving the empire fragmented and desperate. But if you watch my Reed Richards video, you would know all about that. The Asgardians are not aliens in the traditional sense, but extra-dimensional beings, whose origins are actually a mystery even to this day. It's been said that Asgardians are a result of early humans' worships, but that's a story for another time. Asgardians are denser and stronger and tougher than humans, able to withstand forces that would shatter mortals. They traverse the 9 realms through the Bifrost and wield mystic artifacts, forged through the heart of stars. Thor's hammer is only one example of the kind of power they command. The Asgardians remind us that sometimes alien and divine are one and the same. Why does this class matter? Alien and extra-dimensional beings force us to zoom out. The Kree show us science pushed to its evolutionary peak. The Skrulls reveal the horror of perfect infiltration. The Asgardians blur the line between God and alien, wielding power and myth in equal measure. Together they remind us heroes that the universe is vast and Earth is only a small piece of the game on the board. That being the case, how will we categorize Thor? Let me know in the comments. Class 10, Cosmic Powers. The Cosmic Power category was very hard. There is a range when it comes to individuals who are using this power. There are some who operate on a smaller scale, such as acting like police in a sense of the universe like the Nova Corps, to concepts such as death in the universe itself. So I felt the need to separate the two into different categories. Let's get started. The Celestials are ancients, towering entities who shape the destiny of entire civilizations. They conduct experiments, judge the worthiness of worlds, and decide the fate of the species. Their actions have rippled throughout Marvel's history, from the creation of mutants to the rise of the Eternals. The Celestials don't just influence events, they set the stage for evolution and extinction. When they arrive, it's a signal that something of monumental concern is about to change, often on a scale that goes far beyond an individual hero or villain. The Phoenix Force is another expression of cosmic power, but its nature is even more complex. The Phoenix is an ancient cosmic manifestation representing both life and destruction, the cycle of creation, death, and rebirth. It's an avatar of the universe's fundamental forces and a sum of the universe itself. Then there's the Beyonders, whose power redefined what cosmic might could mean. The Beyonder possess the ability to warp reality, destroy galaxies, and create entire universes. During the events of the Secret Wars, the Beyonders' actions demonstrated that cosmic powers could surpass even the combined strength of every hero. Though I would like to mention the Beyonder and the Beyonders are often confused. Though it goes out the scope of this video, we're going to still put them in the same category for right now. The Elders of the universe add another layer to the cosmic hierarchy. Each Elder is an ancient being who survived shortly after the Big Bang, wielding a fragment of the power of the primordial, the original energy used to create the universe. Unlike Galactus or the Celestials, the Elders are defined by their obsessions, collecting, gaining secret knowledge. Their power allows them to manipulate matter, generate energy fields, teleport across space, also across time. While their influence is immense, it's often focused on their personal pursuits, making them both unpredictable and dangerous on a cosmic scale. The clearest example is Galactus. He began as Galen, a mortal from a universe that existed before our own. As the universe collapsed, Galen merged with the sentience of the universe, emerging after the Big Bang as Galactus in the seventh iteration of the universe. He wields the power cosmic, a force that lets him reshape reality, absorb unimaginable amounts of energy, and bend matter to his will. He can also travel across the cosmos in an instant. Yet, even among these titans, there are powers that don't just shape the universe, they embody it. Cosmic powers set the stage, but some forces are the stage itself. I did struggle with this because technically the Phoenix is arguably one of the strongest beings, if not top 5. But where the distinction lies is not necessarily in the strength, but that these are living concepts. Class 11, the living concepts. Some forces in the Marvel Universe aren't just powerful, they are ideas that define existence. Eternity, infinity, death, oblivion, and the living tribunal are not characters in the traditional sense. They are living embodiments of time, space, life, ending, and the balance itself, operating on a scale that makes cosmic titans seem small in a sense. They sometimes have avatars whom are chosen or linked to a certain concept as well. Eternity is the universe given form. Silhouette filled with swirling galaxies isn't a representation, it is a sum of all time, space, matter, and energy. Eternity acts not to save lives or worlds, but to preserve the very concept of existence. Eternity's avatar right now is Storm. Death, neither cruel nor kind, simply inevitable. She ensures that all things end, from a single leaf to the entire galaxy. To some, she's an ending. To others, like Thanos, she's an obsession. His quest for the Infinity Stones and his infamous acts of erasing half of all life weren't acts of pure malice. They were twisted offerings in a desperate bid for her attention. Thanos is an avatar indirectly of death. Oblivion is not destruction, but the void, the absence before the creation, the quiet that follows it. Where death claims the living, Oblivion claims the forgotten, and it never was. It is the infinite silence beyond existence. Oblivion occasionally acts through avatars to reclaim fragments of reality that drift too far into chaos. The Chaos King is an avatar of Oblivion. It was thought at one time that the god of the symbiotes, Null, was an avatar of Oblivion. If that's true, please let me know in the comments and send the source material. Infinity, the sister of eternity, is the embodiment of time's endless flow and limitless possibilities. She ensures that the past, present, and future remain in harmony. When she acts, it's to preserve the cosmic order that lets history unfold. The living tribunal stands above all. Its three faces, equity, necessity, and vengeance, deliver impartial judgments across the multiverse. Even the mightiest cosmic forces bow to its authority. When the tribunal appears, it's because the very laws of reality are on the verge of collapse, and its word is final. Abstract entities are the framework upon which the Marvel Universe rests. They are storytellers behind stories. They are the unseen hands guiding the faith of gods and mortals alike. Their presence forces every hero, villain, and reader to consider their place in the large story of all, the fate of everything. What makes Marvel's universe so compelling isn't just the classifications, it's how they overlap. Every blurred line opens up new possibilities. It's what makes Marvel's universe alive. Not a neat system, but a living cosmos full of contradictions. Just like life itself. Keep your feet on the ground and your eyes on the stars. Excelsior, my fellow nerds. Kai out.